Order, please. Order, please. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Because we are now in a public meeting, I will sort of begin all of my opening statements again. So this is the Standing Committee on Public Accounts. My name is Susan LeBlanc. I am the chair in the MLA for Dartmouth North, and my pronouns are she, her. And now I would like to ask the committee members to introduce themselves, starting with the member on my left, your name, your constituency, and your pronouns, please.
Good morning. Marco McLeod, MLA Pictou West, he, him.
Good morning. Brian Wong, MLA Waverley Fall River Beaverbank, he, him.
Good morning. Tom Taggart, MLA for Colchester North, MLA Taggart or Tom.
Good morning. Tim Outfit, MLA Bedford Basin, he, him.
Ian Rankin, Timberley Prospect, he, him.
Hi, good morning. Derek Mumberked, MLA City Member 2, he, him.
Good morning. Krista Gallagher, Halifax, Chebucto, she, her.
Morning, Diane Timmons, Victoria the Lakes, she, her.
Thank you very much. And we also do have folks from the Auditor General's office here, so I would like them to introduce themselves, those who are here, beginning with Mr. McQuaid, please.
Good morning. Morgan McQuaid, Assistant Auditor General, he, him.
Janet White, Audit Principal, she, her.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we have some committee business to attend to. There is, the first thing is the correspondence from MLA McLeod seeking clarification on the procedure for bringing a meeting in and out of camera. And we also have the chair, that's me, the response that was sent to MLA McLeod. MLA McLeod has asked that the matter be placed on the agenda for discussion. So essentially the question is, what is the procedure when we are in an in-camera meeting to come out of in-camera? We've just had that experience. And so, but while we were sort of looking into it, we also consulted with Legislature Television. And we have some information from Leg TV on the procedure. Oh, pause. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It was.
Oh, here it is. Sorry, I was making notes on it. So I would like to, I think that the best thing to do is to bring everyone up to date, is to just sort of outline all the letters. So last night, I, as the chair, received a letter from MLA McLeod seeking clarification on the procedures for bringing a meeting in and out of camera. What is the formal procedure for transitioning a meeting from public to in camera and vice versa? Are there specific motions or votes required? And my response was that if during a meeting the committee wishes to go in camera, a motion would need to be made to do so and passed by a majority of members. So it's a simple majority. The same would apply if the meeting was in camera and members wish to go out of camera. The motion does not need to be unanimous. A recess would be required to allow Leg TV to change from public to in camera and vice versa. So, and now I just want to read the information we've received from LTV. LTV will need to be made aware of when meetings are public or not. 24 hours advance notice will be required to staff video appropriately. If a meeting is designated as an in-camera, then Leg TV is to treat it as the entire meeting with no video or streaming or recording. If the required notice is not given, the committee will need to wait until staff is available, especially during House hours when we're sitting in the House, and especially during budget debate when staff are likely coming in from home. In off session, so that is if we're meeting when we're not sitting in the legislature, it likely means that a video operator would be minutes away. So preparation is needed. Every meeting that's public needs a YouTube stream created, and that needs to be linked to the legislature. So there's a whole bunch of technical stuff that has to be done. So those are sort of that's the situation. And I would like to open the floor for discussion. If there's any discussion on that question and the situation, that would be required to switch from in-camera to out-of-camera. Any discussion? Okay, great. So it's clear? Excellent. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the Fisheries and Oceans Canada declining attendance for the meeting coming up. A response has been received from DFO indicating that attendance before the committee is being declined, quote, because we are not able to appear on this study, end quote. Is there any discussion on this? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Emily McLeod.
I'm all good, but I am interested in introducing a motion.
Okay. So nothing on the Fisheries and Oceans. So I will call on Emily McLeod for new business then.
Thank you, Chair. Okay, so here's the motion. Whereas the Nova Scotia Public Accounts Committee meets on a regular basis, and whereas a standard meeting schedule allows for greater clarity for Nova Scotians, therefore, I move that the Public Accounts Committee meet weekly from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Wednesdays during regular government operations, with the exception of an 8-week break during the months of July and August, as well as a scheduled furlough during sessions of the House of Assembly.
Thank you very much. There's a motion on the table. Is there any discussion? MLA Rankin.
Yeah, so I won't be supporting this motion. I think it's just a continuation of limiting accountability, limiting the voices of opposition. Effectively, we do have a schedule that's known to the public that this committee meets every Wednesday, whether the host sits or not. It doesn't typically sit in the summer, but we are nationally known as a committee that has that best practice of meeting frequently. It's been brought up at many of the conferences that the Auditor General and the Chair and Vice Chair typically participate in, and we've delivered presentations of why that's of value to look at the multitude of reports coming out of the Auditor General's office, as well as other topics of concern for Nova Scotians. And I just find it distasteful that the day after the government tables raises for themselves, that they're now going to reduce the amount of work that they're going to do at committee. So I'll be voting against.
Thank you, Emily Rankin. Emily Mumbercat.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I won't say too much other than the fact that the government just doesn't want public accounts to meet so they won't have to answer questions during the host during question period. That's ultimately what it is. For me, we're willing to meet every week throughout the year. It's been the process for years, but ultimately this is because topics that are important to Nova Scotians that are reported on by this committee in a public forum help to build the narrative and the story around what's happening during the legislature. This is purely a political move to ensure that this is just a committee that's just not going to meet, so the government doesn't have to answer questions when the host is in session. So it makes no sense. We're meeting every week anyway. It's as my colleague said, the committee tends to not meet in the summer. And ultimately, why would we need to change that when the host is in session? Obviously, it's because of the nature of this committee, the reports that come out of this committee that are specific in nature to whether it's, we're hearing from the Auditor General on the finances or other programs around health, other programs around education. As we know, multiple reports come here, and it's just one way to make sure that the government doesn't have to answer questions if those reports come out during the session, so we won't be supporting the motion.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other discussion on the motion? Emily McLeod.
Thanks for the input. Also, thank you to the clerk for the jurisdictional scan that was completed, and it did show that we are top in the country when it continues to meet, and we will continue meeting more than all our neighbors. So look, we look forward to continue meeting every week, and while the House is sitting, there's ample time to pose questions to ministers, as well as, it's budget season, so during estimates, ministers will be available. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily McLeod. Now, before we vote on this motion, I just want to remind everyone that we do have a meeting with Finance and Treasury Board scheduled for next week. I would like to ask for the support of the committee to retain that meeting next week with Finance and Treasury Board, since it's already scheduled and blocked out in everyone's calendar. I'm wondering what folks think of that. MLA McLeod.
So, yeah, I believe we discussed and we determined who the witnesses were for that, but we did not determine the date for that meeting. Unless I'm remembering incorrectly.
Go ahead, sir.
Unless I'm remembering incorrectly, but I don't remember determining a date.
Ms. Langell, can you clarify for us on that?
So the committee doesn't typically state we want X witness on X date. Typically what happens with regard to Auditor General reports is that they're tabled on a Tuesday. The committee meets with the Auditor General typically the following day on the Wednesday in camera to discuss the report, and then the witness would be called the following week if they're available. It just so happened that because of the orientation session that was happened last week, Finance got pushed to a week later. So that's why they're scheduled. And once the committee approved witnesses, I kind of go ahead and schedule so that we can ensure that meetings are happening.
And so can you clarify for us that they are scheduled to come?
They are scheduled to come, yes.
Okay, so it sounds like we need to vote, MLA Mombercat.
Thank you. I just procedurally, I'm happy to put forward a motion on that, but can I do that before? No, we got to vote on this.
Yeah, you could make an amendment, Ms. MLA Mombercat, but if
Okay, I can make an amendment, sure.
Go ahead, MLA
Okay,
Mombercat.
and I would amend the motion to say that before this decision is made, that we meet with Treasury and Policy next week as scheduled for public accounts before a decision is made on this motion.
Okay, so there's an amendment on the floor. Is there any discussion on the amendment? MLA Mombercat.
Just very quickly, Madam Chair, my colleague talked about the importance of the budget and talked about the importance of being able to ask questions during estimates and to ministers. And, we have Treasury and Finance coming in, so I think this is an important piece of the budget process as we all debate it and discuss it in the legislature. So I hope that the committee will recognize the fact that they're scheduled to come. This is a scheduled meeting, and that we should fulfill it.
MLA Mombercat, I just want to clarify your motion. I know that we have it in Hansard, but the way you worded it suggested that you were you meant something else. And so the way I heard you say it was that you wanted to amend the motion that we defer this decision until after next week's meeting, rather than you voting on this decision and then given the outcome of the decision that is inevitable, that we still schedule Finance and Treasury Board where we retain that meeting. So I'm going to ask you to clarify the meaning of your motion.
So the meaning of my motion was to not vote on the motion the original motion of changing the schedule until after we meet with Treasury and Policy Board next week. I don't think we should make a decision on that. We have a committee that is scheduled to be here. We have a scheduled meeting, so I don't think we should vote on anything until after that meeting takes place.
Okay, thanks for the clarification. My understanding is that then is a deferral on this motion, and I don't believe that is in order.
It's not debatable.
It's not debatable. Okay, so it's not debatable, so no discussion, but we will vote on this motion of a deferral. All in favor of the motion, please say aye. 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 All those opposed? Okay, so the motion to defer is defeated. So now we will go back to the original motion, and if there's no further discussion, we will vote on the motion. All in favor of the, MLA Timmons.
Regarding the meetings scheduled, in the past, the previous government and some of the members in the committee basically voted to reduce PAC meetings. So I just wanted to put that comment forward, and thank you.
Thank you very much, MLA Timmons. Okay. So I don't see any further discussion. So all in favor of MLA McLeod's motion, please say aye. Aye. And all opposed, please say nay. Nay. Okay, the motion has carried. MLA Rankin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move the following. Whereas the Office of the Auditor General has identified a lack of accountability and transparency in Nova Scotia's government's over-budget spending process, I move that the committee endorse the Office of the Auditor General's recommendation to amend the Finance Act to allow the legislature to review, vote on, and approve additional government spending, giving more oversight to the legislature, which every other province in this country has. It's normal practice for this committee to endorse Auditor General recommendations, so I'd like to put that forward and look forward to support from fellow committee members.
Thank you, MLA Rankin. Is there any discussion on that motion? Okay, seeing none, then I will call for the vote. All in favor of MLA Rankin's motion, please say aye. Aye. And all opposed? Nay. The motion is defeated. Is there any other business for today? Okay, I was going to say that our next meeting is next week, February 26, 2025. That is no longer the case, and so I guess I will ask the clerk to schedule the Department of Finance and Treasury Board at the earliest date possible following the sitting of the legislature. If there's nothing else, then I will adjourn the meeting. The meeting's adjourned.